Woodturners, the Jordan family, beloved members of the Arrowmont community. We're delighted to have you here today, gathered to celebrate the enduring legacy of John Jordan, true master of woodturning, whose influences left an indelible mark on Arrowmont and the world of woodturning. John's dedication to his craft and his unwavering commitment to sharing his knowledge shaped the lives of countless students and instructors over the span of 4 decades. John's journey at Arrowmont is a testament to his lifelong dedication to the art of woodturning. As a student, John meticulously honed his craft, developing a style that was uniquely his own. His time as an instructor saw him sharing with hundreds of eager learners, both aspiring and accomplished woodturners alike. Through his teaching, John imparted valuable wisdom on the intricate textures and technical nuances of working with green wood, leaving a lasting impression on all the individuals who are learning from him. We would not be here celebrating the accomplishments of woodturners like John without the Wingate Foundation as well. John and Robin Horn, the Wingate Foundation, continues support of Arrowmont's Wood Studio has been instrumental in ensuring the preservation and enhancement of our facilities. It is through their generosity we can stand here today with a roof over our head. Today we celebrate John's life and continued impact on the world of wood turning through the rededication of the Wingate Center for Wood. Now the studio will be known as the John Jordan Center for Wood, a fitting tribute to a man whose passion for wood turning knew no bounds. Let us carry forward the spirit of John Jordan, honoring his legacy through our actions, deeds, and dedication to the craft he held so dear. May the John Jordan Center for Wood continue to serve as a bastion of creativity, innovation, and excellence, inspiring all who enter its doors to reach new heights of artistic expression. We invite you now to accompany us to Arrowmont's library on the 2nd floor of the Turner Building for a delicious meal and more reflections on John's legacy from his family and friends. Those with the Wingate Foundation and the Jordan family, please join me for a photo to commemorate the next chapter of the Arrowmont Wood Studio, John Jordan Center for Wood.
So Wingate Foundation family and Jordan family. Over here, please.
I'm going to take a picture.
Here you are. Trust me, nobody can watch.
Before we begin, I invite you to join me in a moment of silence to honor and reflect upon the life and enduring legacy of John Jordan. Let us take this opportunity to cherish his memory and impart in the impact he's had on all of us gathered here today. Thank you. Please enjoy your meal as we continue to celebrate the remarkable life and contributions of John Jordan.
This is our annual time of year for our Renaissance dinner. Today it's a Renaissance lunch because we had that great sign unveiling to accomplish and wanting to do that in the beautiful light of day. This is a time each year where we honor our supporters and we also recognize our artists who have been foundational to the success of Arrowmont. This year, it is our privilege to honor John Jordan, an amazing self-taught, internationally acclaimed woodturner with multiple connections to both Arrowmont and so many of us here today. I hope you will enjoy hearing and learning more about John as we go through the program. All of you are so special for being here today, and thank you for making the time in your schedules to join us for this event. I want to call out a few folks that are with us today that if you've not yet had the opportunity to meet, you'll take some time after the program and get to know them better. First of all, we've got 2 tables of wonderful Jordan family and friends who are with us. Vicki's going to join us in a few moments and she'll introduce each one to us. But we want to say welcome to you all and thank you for the sharing of John with us today. We also have John and Robin Horn representing the Wingate Foundation. If you don't know John and Robin or the Wingate Foundation, let me tell you just a little bit about them. First of all, they are the most wonderfully amazing and kind persons you will ever meet. And on top of that, they are phenomenal artists. Since 1999, the Horns and the Wingate Foundation has provided encouragement and support to Arrowmont through a host a variety of support opportunities. A few of those include establishing and contributing to various endowments and scholarships, supporting the property purchase for Arrowmont, establishing the Wingate Fellowships and the Kenneth R. Trapp Fellowship, and then supporting various programs and operations. And as you heard a few moments earlier, most recently, the roof replacement project on the now named John Jordan Center for Wood. They personally support and mentor Arrowmont themselves, as well as through their foundation. Again, please take a few moments to greet them personally and have them share some of their Arrowmont experiences with you. Also joining us today is Linda Britt. She is representing the AAW board and serves as their secretary. Arrowmont is a wonderful place that could not accomplish all that it does without its amazing board of directors. We have several directors here today. I'd like to introduce you to them as well. You met George Jones earlier, and he'll be working on the program more as we go through. George has recently aspired to be our board secretary. He himself is a talented wood-turning and abstract artist, and he is a 2-time Vietnam veteran. George, thank you for your service. We have another wood-turner on our board, Harry Ford. Harry, would you wave out to us? Harry is, in addition to serving on the board, what I would term the volunteer extraordinaire of Arrowmont. Harry is here every week with helpful hands, pitching in for whatever needs to be accomplished on this campus. We literally could not keep the facilities and the property in the condition it is without Harry's loving hands. He shares that expertise across our campus. Harry is also a decorated Army veteran, and Harry, we thank you for your service as well. We have Steve Thompson with us, another board member who's a retired businessman with roots all across the country, currently hailing from Simpsonville, South Carolina, but he made his way here today because the fishing at a fellow board member's property is really good right now. So if you go out on social media, you can see some great pictures of Steve while he's been doing some fishing here. Steve also is an accomplished artist in a variety of media. He does a lot of community volunteerism and most recently brought us a group, Casting for Recovery, who enjoys making art in our art spaces as well as fishing with him. And then there's that great property that these folks fish upon. Let me tell you about Market Worship. If you hear the word community volunteer and then you see that picture, it's Market. Pick an organization anywhere in this area, and Margaret is either on the board or has been on the board or has hosted a fundraiser or is working on a fundraiser to ensure that the community really benefits and is impacted in positive ways. She and her husband Earl have a wonderful place of fishing, and they invite folks so many times throughout the year to fish, to bear hunt, to enjoy the fireflies, and just enjoy everything East Tennessee. So please join me with a round of applause for these great board members who are here with us. There are some folks I want to call out to you. Chris and Amy Overbeck, where are you all? Would you all please stand? These are the wonderful folks who brought us that amazing sign that we unveiled earlier. Through Zook's Woodworks, they designed, created, built, and brought that sign to us. Thank you all so much. Well, there are wonderful exhibitions. If you've not yet had time, I hope after the program that you will join us throughout the campus. There is the Blaine Gallery on this level of Turner where you can see wonderful, wonderful exhibitions. Also down in the front lobby of Turner in the Woolpert Gallery is another exhibition. And across the way, in the newly named John Jordan Center for Wood in the Drown Gallery is yet another amazing exhibit. So I hope that you will take some time after the program and enjoy all of these areas. Now, without further ado, we're going to get on with the program, and I am going to turn it over to Mr. George.
All right, please join me in extending a warm welcome to Vicki Jordan, John's wife of 45 years and his greatest supporter. Vicki?
I would like to start by saying that Trudy has been amazing to work with. I'm not a person that stands in front of people, and I've written this speech 45 times and sent her an updated copy. The last one was about 2 hours ago. The other addition is that when John died, I called his best friend, Clay Foster, and I said, "John died, you have to make his arm." Second sentence, no breath. This is his arm. So, Clay Foster's amazing. Hi, I'm the other half of John and Vicki. Being in John's arms was home to me for 46 years. Yes, I know. I would like to tell you a little about the John that I knew, but first let me introduce some amazing people. Mr. John Jordan Jr. was his oldest son. You can stand up. Dr. Matt Jordan and Jennifer Wagner were our two children. Lily and Max are two of our beautiful grandchildren. And Trey and Jacob were unable to attend. Please be patient with me. I'm certainly not a public speaker. A friend told me it'd be easier if I pictured you guys naked. In 1977, John walked into a bar with his helmet. I walked up to him and said, "Either you play a mean game of football or you got a motorcycle outside." He took me riding and we were married 3.5 months later. When we met, he was servicing banking equipment, primarily the ATMs. Whenever something sparked John's interest, he would learn everything he could about it. He was brilliant. In the mid-'80s, his interest was wood. At first, he made custom furniture. He got a job making 14 sets of 9-foot-tall working louvered shutters for the historic Union Station in downtown Nashville. That opportunity was huge. He and a friend managed to build them in a small room in our house that John used for a shop. It was as crazy as it sounds. And I won't even go into the story of them walking out to the driveway and the truck was missing. One of them had not put the brakes on and the truck had backed out of the driveway, across the road, and down the hill on the other side with some of the shutters in the back of the truck. The money from that commission allowed him to become a full-time woodworker. I heard him say more than once that he was scared to use a lathe because he was afraid if he ever did, he wouldn't want to do anything else. As usual, John Jordan was right. But thankfully, he was very good at it and quickly joined the ranks of other accomplished turners. People tried to convince him that he needed a bread and butter item, but his heart was into making major pieces that required hours of carving and texturing after the wood turning process had been complete. His passion paid off. Thanks to collectors and gallery owners, John is now represented in close to 40 museums worldwide, including the Renwick Gallery at the Smithsonian Institute, the White House Collection, which is now in the Clinton Library, and the Fitzwilliam Museum in Cambridge in the UK. He was an early supporter of the American Association of Woodturners and helped found the Tennessee Association of Woodturners. Both associations awarded him with the Honorary Lifetime Membership Award. He began sharing what he knew about woodturning with the community and became known for his no-nonsense, simple approach as a teacher. He traveled all across the United States many times, as well as internationally, doing demonstrations and teaching workshops. But people quickly learned that he wouldn't schedule anything until the Tennessee Titans football schedule was posted. In 1998, he made 2 videos, one explaining how to turn bolts, and a second one on turning hollow vessels. Both of these videos were well received and have helped countless turners. If you walk through any wood turning exhibit, his influence in the community is apparent. He loves sharing his knowledge, particularly with young, eager, gifted students. Mark Gardner, who we'll talk later, is one of those young men. John shared his knowledge about wood selection and the techniques of working with green wood, which John turned exclusively, and later produced a DVD called The Aesthetics and Properties of Wood. He helped design and became the sole importer of study lathes, a specialty lathe made in Australia. We later moved our support to Robust, a young, successful company in Wisconsin who developed and now manufactures what John would say is the best lathe available. John started producing the tools he used so that they would be available for his students and other turners worldwide. I'm continuing John Jordan woodturning as his legacy still today. Turners appreciate John Jordan quality, and demand our tools continues to be great. He understood the importance of knowing the history of woodturning, as well as knowing those who followed in his path. John taught his share of classes here at Arrowmont, which was one of his favorite places to teach. Once, in 1993, our daughter Jennifer, who was 5 at the time, was on the competitive dance team performing in Pigeon Forge. He jokingly told his Arrowmont students if they didn't attend the performance that he would fail them. I believe they all showed up. Any explanation of who John was could not be complete if I omit that he was known as being a curmudgeon, and I knew this was going to happen. If you ask John what he thought of something, stand back, because he was going to tell you. However, there was a softness in John that was rarely shared in groups. But one-on-one, most people came to know very well. He would give you the shirt off of his back, invite you to our home, spend hours texting young turners who had questions. If he ever told you he liked your work, you took that as a huge compliment because you knew he meant it. John could not have done what he did with his art without the huge contributions of his supporting collectors, amazing customers, wonderful friends, and the craft community. You will always be my family. I am humbled at this distinguished honor of Arrowmont renaming their wood shop John Jordan Center for Wood, as well as the creation of the John Jordan Endowed Scholarship. John would be deeply touched. Our family is grateful. We love you. I will end this with, after hearing this on a commercial together, I challenged John to end one of his demos at the National Symposium in Chattanooga. He actually did. So I will sign off with, stay fresh, cheese balls. Thank you.
Please welcome John's good friend and fellow Arrowmont instructor, Mark Gardner. Mark lives and works in his studio in Saluda, North Carolina, where he creates functional and decorative items. He teaches wood turning courses throughout the country and will be teaching Arrowmont this summer. Mark's work can be found in fine craft galleries in the U.S. and public collection of the Yale Art Gallery Museum of Art and Design. Mark?
Okay, instead of pretending that you're all naked, I'm going to pretend that you're all a bunch of woodturners. Or maybe you can pretend I have food in my teeth or something. I'm grateful to be here at Arrowmont with so many people that care about John. I met John here when I took my first woodturning class from him. This was in '96. Without question, that class changed my life, and in an amazing way. I was very much a fanboy of John's at the time, so I was surprised at the end of class when he openly invited me to visit him in Nashville if I happened to be in town. That very fall, I did happen to be in Nashville working, so I took him up on his offer. But it wasn't just a visit, of course. It was stay for dinner. Then after dinner, stay and watch late night TV with the family, and then it was come back on your next day off and we'll turn something in the shop. I mean, I was blown away by his generosity, which was typical of my experience with John. In preparing for today, I thought I'll just list all the ways he's helped me out, and realized quickly that if I tried to share all the stories, we'd be here till dinner time. So it's hard to overstate the impact John has had on my life. But I would like to share a few memories that epitomize John to me. The first time I attended a woodturning conference, John made a direct point of including me at every meal, which meant I was sitting down to eat with all the demonstrators from the conference, people I've been reading about in magazines and books. I was beside myself, and John made sure that I was there to experience that. At another conference, a little later, John introduced me to Dale Nish, another woodturner from Provo, Utah. And before I knew it, with me standing there, John was telling Dale that you need to have this guy demonstrating at your conference. And the next year I was. My first teaching job at a craft school was due to his recommendation. And the list goes on. I mean, invitations to gallery exhibitions because John had shared my work and my name with gallery owners and directors and curators. I was fortunate to assist several of John's classes here at Arrowmont, and these are always peak experiences for me. I remember showing John a new piece I just finished before arriving, and he could tell I was very excited about it, and he said, "Great, you can demo that on Thursday." Okay. Thank you for the push, John. During 2-week classes, John made a point of getting off campus. And we would spend Saturday or Sunday at Hillbilly Golf or Ripley's Believe It or Not, a haunted house, something like that. And it surprised me that, or it didn't occur to me that someone who made such refined, sensitive work could embrace what is out there. But I appreciated that. I mean, I grew up coming here as a kid on family vacation, so I felt like we had a connection there. There was even a class where he got the whole class to go down and get our picture taken at one of the old-time photo op places. It was great. And for some reason, I didn't have any say in what costume I got to wear. The class decided I would wear the preacher outfit. I'm still not really sure what to think about it. That photo is still in my shop today. There's lots of really great reminders of John in my shop. The most frequent is the music that I listen to in the shop, which is a big part of my daily routine. I just always have music going when I'm working. Lots of people do. John always had a boombox with him when he was teaching. And he introduced me to so much good music. Just here at Arrowmont, I asked him once if he had anything he really liked, he could share with me. This was back when people still listened to music on CDs, and you could burn CDs and share them that way. And a couple weeks later, a package arrived in the mail with, I swear, no less than 75 CDs. I mean, it was like 2 of those cases you'd get from Staples, and it was just tons of great music. And frequently, a song from John comes on the old iPod in the studio, and it's always just a really wonderful reminder that I'm grateful for. I could go on about John's integrity as a maker and a teacher, as well as his appreciated by me juvenile sense of humor. But I'll leave something for other people to talk about. I guess I'd like to finish with the thought that personally, I'm trying my best to stay in touch with what John left me, and not focus on that feeling that I've lost something. Although I know I have lost something. A part of me is with him, but a part of him remains with me forever. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark. And now please welcome Kim Winkle. She's a member of the Board of Directors of the American Association of Woodturners. Kimberly Winkle is a maker who creates furniture and objects using wood and paint. Her work displays a balance of form, color, surface patterns. Winkle is a professor of art and director of the School of Art, Craft, and Design at Tennessee Technological University. She holds a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Ceramics from the University of Oklahoma and a Master of Fine Arts in Furniture Design from San Diego State University. Her workshop teachings experience includes Haystack Mountain School of Craft, Penland School of Craft, Arrowmont School of Arts and Craft, Anderson Rad's Art Center, and the Center for Furniture Craftsmanship, Johnson Junior Folk School, and the Appalachian Center for Crafts. Kim?
First of all, thank you to Arrowmont for what a beautiful day, coming together to celebrate John. This is really special, I think, for everybody who's here today, so thank you very much. I have to apologize, I am recovering from a cold, so I sound a little bit like Joan Rivers, so please accept my apology. As George mentioned, I am here on behalf of the American Association of Woodturners, and also as a fellow woodturner of John's. John joined the AAW. I'm going to abbreviate because American Association of Woodturners over and over is quite a mouthful. So John joined the AAW in its very first year. He was member number 1928 and squeaked in during the first calendar year, joining on December 31st, 1986. He wrote his first journal article, Carving Fleets on Hollow Vessels, a few years later. John's influence on the field of woodturning can't be overestimated, and neither can his impact on the AAW and its members, as we can see as we look around the room. From his early days with the founding of the AAW to his work as a valued member of the Board of Advisors and the Professional Outreach Committee, John can be counted on for his keen observations and insights. From his demonstrations at the AAW Symposia to his journal articles, John shared what he knew and believed freely. He was always willing to share an opinion, and a few private words of encouragement and criticism from John gave some of our best-known artists the courage to create their own paths. His business, John Jordan Woodturning, has always had an important presence in the trade show at the AAW. The booth was, and still is, practically an institution, often held down by his wife and partner, Vicki, while John demonstrated or connected with friends, colleagues, and woodturners of every level. John had a lot to say about turning, as we know, and Vicki's smile sweetened some of John's spicier comments. Over his decades as a member and a leader, he supported the AAW's mission to advance the field of wood turning by participating in gallery critiques, always saying yes to providing work for auctions and exhibitions, and by taking on new challenges. During the pandemic, when the AAW pivoted to online demonstrations, John jumped right in, eager to support both woodturners and the AAW during a challenging time for all. Although he clothed it in humor and straightforward language, John modeled a standard of excellence that motivated turners to reach a bit beyond what they thought they could do, inspiring many professional and hobbyist turners to continually hone their skills and to grow in this incredible craft. In this way, he in many ways personified the mission of the AAW. We miss him, and we're incredibly proud and grateful to be a part of his extraordinary legacy. My personal experience of John started around summer of 2004, while I was a resident artist at the Appalachian Center for Craft, and where John taught many workshops in our summer workshop program. There I observed the impact he had on his students. They adored him, although they were also a little bit terrified of him too. His teaching was effective, but more importantly, his people skills and his ability to grow and support a sense of a community were remarkable. Despite his prickliness, his students clung to his every word and did their best to mimic his turning and carving techniques, which have undoubtedly influenced the field of wood turning. Since those days at the Craft Center, I've had the good fortune to exhibit alongside John and to rub elbows with him at exhibition receptions, symposia, and the like. I always enjoyed seeing him. Unless it was summer, he was almost always wearing a hoodie. He'd smile a big grin, and he'd say in his thick Tennessee accent, "Hi, Kim," and give me a big warm hug. He always welcomed me into the community, and for that, I'm incredibly grateful. So again, I just want to celebrate John, celebrate his impact, celebrate the fact that we're all together here, celebrating him, honoring him, and this wonderful institution at Arrowmont. Thank you.
Bill Griffith is a studio artist, administrator, and educator. He worked with Arrowmont for over 30 years. He's lectured, taught throughout the United States and international craft schools, universities, and craft guilds. The recipient of a Tennessee Art Commission Individual Artist Fellowship, Bill continues to exhibit his work, jury, and curate exhibitions nationally. Bill has curated a diverse ceramic collection, some of which are on display in our San Urbane gallery. He continues to touch Arrowmont with the upcoming donations of the Bill Griffith Study Collection. Bill?
Thanks. Thank you, George. Can everybody hear me? Well, I did work at Arrowmont for 34 years in the program department and most recently at institutional advancement. But I first met John as a student because my job as assistant director was to facilitate the needs of the instructors. But my professional association with John Jordan began when I started hiring instructors in 2000 after Sandra Blaine retired. So from 2000 to 2016, I hired John probably 8 times. So John especially enjoyed teaching the 2-week workshops, and during the 2 weeks workshops, there was the intercession, the weekend between, and that's when I first met Vicki and Matthew and Jennifer. Because John, they would come to visit John, and I lived in the staff house with a dog named Lily. And so I got to know the family, and that was pretty unique for me, because when you hire instructors, you usually meet them and you find out a lot about them, but you never know their family, so it was a thrill for many, many years. When I walked in the building tonight, I saw Vicki, and I kind of thought that could be her daughter Jennifer, so I introduced myself, and she said, "You're the guy with the dog named Lily," which made my heart swell. And then I met Matthew. And over the years, when they stopped coming as children, John would always tell me about their career development and their progression. And I know he was extremely proud of his kids. Around 2005, due to John's stellar reputation as an instructor and an artist, and his persuasive personality, prickly, is that what Jim says? A little prickly, persuasive personality. John really wanted to teach more advanced students in the workshop. And sometimes he didn't have the students didn't have the basic turning skills, so he suggested that Arrowmont start a Master Weekend Workshop, and so I credit John to a Master Weekend Workshop. He even vetted some of the students that applied through images because he really wanted to take them to another level of craftsmanship and design, and to really show them what he does. So this was called the Master, the first time we started at Arrowmont, it was around 2005, called the Master Weekend Workshop. They were designed for advanced students who wanted to learn John's specific turning techniques specifically. The students would bring turned objects, turned wood, green wood with finished forms, ready to be carved, textured, decorated, and dyed. This new format provided John the opportunity to work with more advanced students in concept and design, along with elevated dialogue and conversations. John traveled and demonstrated extensively throughout the U.S. and Canada, France, New Zealand, Australia, Japan. Through his travels, though, John would share with Arrowmont, with me being program director, the names of contact information of prospective turners that he met in all these amazing countries along the way. And in doing so, he helped Arrowmont maintain its international national reputation as the woodturning capital of the world. I didn't make up that term. Arrowmont was known as the woodturning capital of the world by other people that would come to Arrowmont and credit Arrowmont. John was also interested in helping train and mentor the next generation of woodturners. Obviously, Mark talked about that. I met Mark through John years ago and remained friends. But I also recall my first meeting with a young woodturner named Michael Mocho from New Mexico, and who John invited to Arrowmont as his summer workshop assistant. John would always bring a new assistant. And Michael was pretty cool. He fell in love with Arrowmont. He applied to be and was selected as an Arrowmont artist in residence the next year through the one-year program. And 2 years later, Michael came back and taught his first workshop at Arrowmont. So I always credit John to introducing new students and completing that circle from mentorship to instructor. So I was recalling a memory about John and his request for fresh green wood. Part of my job early was to prepare the materials for instructors, and John always wanted fresh green wood because he turned tulip poplar, and so I thought I was doing pretty good. A couple months before he came, I got a truckload of what I thought was fresh green wood. Well, it wasn't fresh enough for John, and fresh is kind of a relative term. I I've had carrots in my refrigerator for 2 months, and I thought they were kind of fresh. But John said, Bill, I got a problem. Students are arriving, and the wood's kind of dry and a little cracked, and I kind of panicked, and so I grabbed Ernie, the maintenance man, and John, and we went and dropped a couple tulip poplar trees from the far end of campus and cut them up in logs. And the students were happy as lark. John, I'll never forget his smile. I'll never forget the smell of green wood turning in the wood studio, and especially the face shields of students had water on them. So I knew that was fresh and that was green. So I learned the meaning of fresh green wood from John Jordan. Last night at dinner, I was talking with Robin Horn, and she told me, oh yeah, John would freeze his logs at home to keep them fresh and green. So there you go. I learned what fresh green wood meant. I have a quote of John's that I found, I think, on Instagram, or maybe through Vicki's connection with keeping John's memory going. This is a quote from John. Using fresh cut logs in my work, the wood is a very direct and responsive medium with properties that are unique, not only about the woodiness, but the working qualities that it has. With my knowledge of the material, I can exert a great deal of control over the desired result. I am able to work with surface textures and shapes that would sometimes be difficult in other materials. I am, however, connected to the material of wood as a potter is connected to the clay. It's what I do and who I am. During my tenure at Arrowmont, I was so lucky and fortunate to hire and meet hundreds of exceptionally talented instructors in all media from all over the world, and become friends with many of them, and several of you are in this room, and I feel so blessed. But I was never a member of the American Association of Woodturners. I was never a member of the Tennessee Association of Woodturners. And no woodturner ever showed me the secret handshake or gave me the password. But John Jordan always made me feel respected, included, and welcomed into the larger woodturning club. With that, I want to end my comments by a quote from Maya Angelou. I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Thanks.
John Bill, many enduring friendships through AAW and many teaching experiences. Clay Foss is one of those friends. While he cannot be with us today, he's currently traveling in Japan. He has shared his reflections on John in this short video.
Hi, I'm Clay Foster, a longtime friend of John Jordan. We all knew John as a world-class woodturner with work and collections all over the world. And he traveled the globe, giving demonstrations at conferences and woodturning events, not just because he was in such great command, but because he enjoyed teaching. If somebody had the desire to learn about woodturning, John got a lot of satisfaction out of sharing his knowledge with them and helping them become better. And John didn't have any secrets. He didn't hold anything back. In the formative years of contemporary woodturning, John was one of the instructors who set the example that in our craft, we share what we know. Being invited to be an instructor at Arrowmont was an indication that not only did you have something worthwhile to show, you were also really good at showing it. Just because you're a master at your craft doesn't mean that you have a talent for teaching it. But John did. In fact, John was such an experienced turner, he could just stand there in the middle of the classroom and by listening to the sounds of the lathes around him, be able to say, "Tommy, you need to sharpen your tool." John was not only generous with his knowledge, he was generous with everything. He would bring tons of supplies and materials with him for students to use and try out and find out if they liked something before they went out and spent a bunch of money on their own stuff. John and I were teaching a class together once, and one of the students was only able to be there half days because she was getting kidney dialysis during the week. When she was there, John made sure that he doubled down on giving her extra personal attention to make her time there worthwhile. She was a beginning student, and so she was using the turning tools that the school had because she didn't have much money to buy her own. But what she lacked in time and tools, she made up for in enthusiasm to learn. So at the end of the week, John gave her, from his own inventory, every kind of turning tool she would ever need. And nobody knew about it. When a teacher like that and a school like this come together in life, they deserve to share the name, John Jordan.
Well, this is getting towards the end. My exposure to John, I've taken classes on him, followed him around the country, different venues, and I want to say that he's a wood turner. I call him a wood artist. The things that he was able to do with a tool and how he could just show you, and Clay was just talking about how he could listen. One of the big things I got from him where he taught you how to listen. I can be in my shop doing something, and I go back to that memory of listen. You don't even have to look at the tool. He once told me to stop looking at the tool, listen at it, and look at the horizon. So that's sort of one of my biggest memories from him. But I think the biggest thing, I don't call him a wood turner, I call him an artist. He was an artist, and I think that's what all of this is about. From Robin and John and other artists that are out there, Stone and Lamar, look at their work and their artists. And I think their job is to put in us, we share, and it goes on. John may not physically be here with us, but he is here with us. So I think that's the big piece of it. We have to carry that whole piece on and share. So in closing, that's what I have to say. So now, Trudy can finish it up. Thank you.
Thank you, George, and all our speakers. Let's give them another round of applause. We are honored to host the John Jordan Endowed Scholarship. And thanks to so many of you in this room, and so many that could not be with us today, we are proud to announce that as of today, over $136,000 has been donated and is the corpus of that fund. We are very proud that we will be able to begin awarding funds later this year. And so to each and every one of you who have shared to help us create and sustain John's memory in another wonderful way, thank you so much. Please remember that you, too, are important threads in this tapestry that we all love and know as Arrowmont. Please continue to help us advance arts and crafts and all the peoples who desire to be a part of this powerful meaning of touch. We encourage you to continue visiting and enjoy one another's company. As mentioned earlier, our galleries are open for your visits. Please ask any one of us to help you find your way around and to provide you with any additional information in these regards, as well as a whole host of wonderful upcoming workshops and other events. Please know how very much we appreciate you and we value as members of this Arrowmont community family. Have a wonderful afternoon.